Gotta do. Okay. Let's talk about a bunch of celebrities, girl power, that flew into space on a giant penis rocket and or lower orbit space. They hung out there for a while, which I'm going to show you guys that footage, and they came back down. These are the people that that flew into space. And I got to point out one thing. Ladies, don't get plastic surgery. Just don't do it. Like, look, just age gracefully, because this person right here was once a beautiful woman, and now she looks like a character from The Hills Have Eyes, and I'm confused.
Who is it? Which one?
That's Jeff Bezos' wife, and I don't remember her name. I'm sure we're gonna get to it here, but
I'm sorry. When you got so much money, like when somebody has so much money that you're like, so what you're saying is you can sculpt my face to make it look perfect. It's very hard not to just do that damage to yourself.
Don't do it.
Very few people have good plastic surgery.
She looks like a character from Terrifier 2. I'm confused. She looks like almost like an NPC from Grand Theft Auto, and not 5, like Grand Theft Auto 3. It's bad.
Well, the worst part is it becomes addictive.
Right.
So once they start doing stuff, they can't seem to stop. And then you go from being like, almost like, oh, I think I just made myself more attractive. Like the distance between almost becoming more attractive to like becoming like a clown is so close. Like you start to look like Joker-esque with your lips, like what these girls
Yeah, she looks like the Joker. Yeah, you're totally right.
So frightening.
Okay, so here's the footage of them going to space, or whatever you want to call it. And we're going to talk about the actual story. There is a conspiracy out there that this might not have happened. And there's a lot of evidence to prove that or not prove it. We're going to go through all that right now.
You've seen the movie Gravity, right? I mean, was Sandra Bullock in space or what? I mean, what are we talking about here? It was pretty believable.
It was pretty believable. You're right. Yeah, that's CGI. All right, so here we go. So these women, Katy Perry, and I like how everyone is pretty much just focused on Katy Perry, but also it's Katy Perry, Gayle King, Lauren Sanchez is her name, and other members of the crew.
That's what I'm saying. The only famous person who was on the flight was Katy Perry. Let's be fair here. One is married to a billionaire, and the other one, I think she does news stuff.
No, I think Gayle King is like friends with Oprah, right?
Yeah, Gayle's friend Oprah. So
and Lauren Sanchez was like a news person before she married.
Sort of, yeah. But nobody's famous.
Yeah, but who cares? Really not. Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Katy Perry is the news here.
She's the famous person,
and you're gonna see why right now. This is silly. Just watch it, okay? If you can't hear it, tell me, Shane. Okay.
2, 3, take a space! Woo! Behind you, look, right behind you. It's okay, you it up there. Flint, I gotcha.
Just notice, everyone's looking out the windows, and Katy Perry is like staring at the camera with her stupid flower.
Well, she's got a daisy. Yeah. Well, she did it for her daughter, so I'll give her a pass.
Okay.
She did it for her.
Oh, the moon! You guys, I don't have to tell you. Look at the moon. Look.
The moon. Look at the moon. We probably see the moon every night. Look everywhere else. Look at the earth.
Oh my gosh! Thank you so much. Whoa! That's amazing.
She's promoting her album.
Gosh, that's good.
I know. Katie's face.
I like how she was promoting her album right there.
Of course.
I mean, hey, never stop the hustle, baby. Never stop the hustle. You got a platform. You better pump that album out, baby.
Got to sell them records.
Yeah.
Says it all right there. So, Katie, I'll jump to you for a comment. You holding up that daisy. I know you got to tell me outside the capsule how important that was, not only because it's your daughter's name, but everything that it encompasses for you. And I would love for you to share it with the audience.
I don't know if I can cry anymore. daisies, sometimes people consider daisies weeds because they grow everywhere.
All right.
And through smile, have so much for my beauty in.
No one cares. Okay. So I'm gonna.
Like, yeah, are you gonna keep playing that or what?
No, I'm gonna stop it now. I was hoping that she would say something more valuable, but she just sort of drones on.
No, there's nothing valuable other than the fact that that's where she explains she basically did it for her daughter. Her daughter's name is Daisy.
Listen, if you guys want to watch that, I will put the link in the description, but nothing of value was said there. Okay.
Before we get to the conspiracy, let me just say one thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people are talking trash about the fact that they went to space. Let me be very clear. If Jeff Bezos asked me to go do that, I would do it in a heartbeat, and I would absolutely want to be up there. And if it cost me money and I had a ton of money to just throw away, I would 100% be up there. I think what they did as a personal experience is cool as hell. So despite all the stuff, but the actual experience itself is cool, and the fact that they got to go is an awesome thing.
Yeah, listen. So, if I had a chance to go to space, I totally would, 100%.
Right. So all the people talking shit, there's valid reasons why they're talking this garbage about them, and it's well due. The experience and the act itself is still a cool thing. So I just want to put that.
You're 100% right. I would totally go to space, given the shot for sure. But a couple things. A, they are not astronauts.
That's 100% true.
100% true. Katy Perry and her friends are talking about how they're astronauts. False.
That's true.
They are not astronauts. They are tourists that went into as the closest thing you can call space, and came after 3 minutes, came back down. They're not astronauts. In fact, they didn't even fly the plane. It was remotely controlled. Well, and by the way, the all-women crew that went to space didn't fly the plane. It was flown by men on the ground.
Well, and let's be super clear. They keep saying that they were in space as long as John Glenn. They were not.
No.
They were actually up in space for about 4 minutes of weightlessness. Their whole flight was 11 minutes, but that includes takeoff, getting to altitude, and landing, right? Whereas Alan Shepard, who was the first American astronaut, second man in space, first astronaut, his entire flight was 15 minutes,
right?
And which he spent the majority of it actually in space, turning the craft around, making sure that the heat shield worked, being an astronaut. So you're right; those girls took a ride, And if you take a look at
it's an expensive ride. Good.
Here's the requirements to be an astronaut. You ready?
Yeah.
And this is according to NASA, who gets to decide who astronauts are,
right?
Okay, because they're the ones who do that. One, you got to be a U.S. citizen. Okay, all right, fair. Otherwise, you'd be a cosmonaut or some other knot of another place.
Right.
Have a master's degree in a STEM field, including engineering, biological science, physical science, computer science, mathematics, from an accredited institute. Now, I don't know how many of those ladies have one of those, but I have a feeling that none of them do.
I have an answer for you, Shane. Ready? It's right here. Ready?
None?
None.
Wait, also,
No.
you also have to have a minimum of 3 years of related professional experience.
Oh, wait. Let's see.
After you get your degree.
None.
Okay, none. And for completion, they have to have 1,000 pilot in command hours, with at least 850 of those hours in high performance jet aircraft.
Right.
For doctors, for medical pilots, a little bit for the rest. You also have to be able to successfully complete NASA's long duration flight astronaut physical. So you cannot say you're an astronaut because you don't meet those requirements. And nobody who goes up into space for a few minutes is going to meet those.
Yeah, and here's the deal. We're not being like petty. We just don't want to diminish the actual effort it takes for real astronauts. You saying you're an astronaut is diminishing the incredible amount of effort, training, education, lifelong dedication it requires to be an astronaut. So you stop saying that.
More than 600 Americans have become astronauts. And so what it does when they say they're an astronaut, it diminishes, what those people have achieved.
An incredible achievement.
Dedicate their entire life to it.
Right.
And so you can't just say you went up for 4 minutes and now you're an astronaut. So it's,
And by the way, Wizard Lives is right. Shatner is also not an astronaut. That's true. And Guess what? Shatner never said he was, so that's good.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
Go on to the conspiracy.
All right. So here's the conspiracy. This is from Daily Dot. Blue Origin truthers refuse to believe Katy Perry actually went to space. Quote unquote. All fake. Now here's interesting, and there's a little video we're going to watch too. Here's the article. A wild new conspiracy theory emerged online trying to discredit Blue Origin's all-female flight to space. It never happened. The roughly 11-minute Voyage's crew featuring singer Katy Perry, CBS Morning's co-host Gayle King, Oprah's best friend, Jeff Bezos' fiancée Lauren Sanchez, former NASA rocket scientist Aisha Bowe. By the way,
maybe she gets to be an astronaut. We'll see.
Well, no, she hasn't fit the requirements either. The scientist Amanda Nguyen. That was actually pretty impressive because she actually wanted to be an astronaut. Yeah. And she got sidetracked by some really horrendous personal stuff and ended up
some hot dude.
No, it was like SA, but I can't say the word. Like
SA,
you know what SA means.
So a terrible guy.
A terrible person. And then she ended up working in the government. And so she really wanted to be an astronaut. And it wasn't in the cards for her. And so her going to space is actually pretty rad for her. And listen, I'm not, in no way am I taking that from her. That's good. I'm happy you were able to do that. You're just not an astronaut.
Weightlessness. You went to space. Awesome.
It's great. Sweet.
You're not an astronaut. Sorry.
And film producer Kieran Flynn. The trip has been brutally roasted online, with some critics joking that the trip lasted shorter than Selena Gomez's social media breaks.
Oh, geez. That's rough.
That's rough. And
you know what my comeback would be?
Nah.
I may have only been to space for 4 minutes, but that's 4 minutes longer than you'll ever be there.
Oh! And others calling into question the need for such a trip, deeming it a publicity stunt designed to entice future wealthy passengers.
Of course
That's exactly what it is.
Of course
This is a literal marketing stunt.
Dude, and that's more American than American. I just want to say.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Guys, complain about that all you want, but that's pretty damn American. People are like, look at the money they could have used to actually help people. Like, stop it.
Well, you don't want to know how much Jeff Bezos gives to help people.
You can say that about a lot of stuff. Right. How much money have you given to charity in comparison to Jeff Bezos? And we are not simps for Bezos. We actually dislike him. But he's given a lot.
I don't dislike him.
I dislike Bezos. But
he created Amazon, dude. I got to bow down to that guy.
No, I respect him, but I also dislike that Lex Luthor looking motherfucker.
That's fair.
Okay, here's the deal though. He has given more money to charity than I will ever give.
Right, yeah, 100%. Or that you will ever make. He has given more money to charity than you or I will ever make.
He's given more money to charity than we'll ever make in 3 lifetimes.
Maybe 100 lifetimes.
Maybe 100. All right, so he goes, but a handful of people critical of the journey has taken things a step further by claiming the trip never happened.
Nice.
The truth or conspiracy is largely based on a video of the hatch door appearing to be opened briefly from the inside after landing, before Bezos uses a large tool to open it from the outside. Here's definitive proof that the Blue Origin mission was faked. Here we go. All right. This is from Billy Zig. Here we go.
Staged
way to go, Billy.
Katy Perry to space hoax. Aside of all the other proofs of this hoax, I just want to show you this really, really quick one that happened during the live footage of the opening of the.
Paused it.
Billy, you should have someone else read it because your accent really makes your conspiracy theory hurt. You know, it's just coming from that accent.
You're totally right. Okay, so.
Let me tell you what's happening,
right. So, if you have like an English accent, everyone assumes you're smart, right? So you go like,
perfect.
let me explain to you. The Earth is not round, if you go into space and you see the solitude of the, people are like, oh, okay, yeah. But then let's say the exact same thing. All right, let me tell you what, Earth ain't round, boy. One sounds like you know what you're talking about, even if you're a total moron. And the other one sounds like you're a moron, even if you know what you're talking about.
Right. If you sound like you've seen Bigfoot, then that's it. That's it.
Right. And I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying this is the way society is.
I'm just saying, yeah.
If I had to pick an accent to have, it would 100% be an English accent because everyone just assumes you're smart. Right away.
We don't even have an accent. We're so lame. We don't even sound like anyone else. We're just, at least he has something special.
That's true. That's true. All right. Continuing.
The hatch. Check this out.
You know, you saw her get so emotional in her pre-flight interview. Is she still, is that still the weighing emotion, or is she still just, oh my God, I saw the stars, I saw the curvature of the earth. You know, what's going to come out of her
door opens. Up. What does Leonardo DiCaprio do? Look at that. Look, right there.
Okay.
The door opens. So here's the deal. Happened? So just to be clear, it is actually a requirement, at least at NASA, for the doors to be able to open both ways, because there was an incident where it couldn't be opened from the inside and people burned to death.
Yeah, that was actually the first Apollo mission, Apollo 1, that happened on the pad where 3 astronauts were killed. But it's not required for you to be able to open the door as much. You have to at least be able to have an automatic hatch. Like you got to be able to, burst the door open from hitting a button on the inside.
Right.
So
they just casually opened the door way too early.
You know what frightens me? That they have the ability to open the door that easily.
Yeah. So you send a bunch of like vapid celebrities into space, and they can open the door
at any moment.
No, don't open the door. No, they're
really. Imagine they're floating through space. I'm like, oh, what is this?
Imagine Gail King's like, I wonder if I can open this up and see. Oh God! That first thing I thought was, wait, they can open the door the whole time?
Opened way too easily. Like you would think you would need something, anyways.
Yeah. So you would think you would need a tool, like what Jeff Bezos pulls out when he fakes it. Ready?
Yes, exactly.
Her heart.
And is that Jeff Bezos out there right by the capsule? Kind of hard to see.
That is correct.
That's his bald head. You should be able to see it very easily.
You can see him from space.
All of China and Jeff Bezos' head is what we can see from space. I'm just saying.
Oh, my bad. Can you hear me?
I don't hear you.
I just screwed up.
I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, hold up. I screwed something up.
I've lost you.
How about now? Can you hear me?
And something's happening on the YouTube channel that doesn't make sense.
Really? Can you hear me okay? Okay, I can't hear you. You can't hear me, but I think they can hear me, though. Can you guys hear me? I hit a button by accident. Hold up, Shane. Can you hear me?
There you are.
All right, yeah. Can you guys hear me on YouTube? Let me know. I did have to.
I'm not hearing you through your microphone, though.
I know you're hearing me through another place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna fix it right now. But sorry, guys.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. This is great pod.
Keep going. No, everyone can hear you.
Oh, good. I can hear you. I just can't hear you through your mic. So wherever you're coming from, they can hear you. So that's good enough. Too much caffeine. Like the women in the space capsule were able to open the door so easily, you shut down our show. It's fantastic with a button. Anyways, we appear now. We can't hear Brian, so I don't know. That's actually about 12 seconds delayed. So, yeah. Okay. Well, so you see the door open. You know what you guys didn't see, and I don't know if Brian is going to show us this or if he's planning to. But when the capsule actually lands, I'm not sure how anyone doesn't get severed spinal cords from that whole landing. That is one of the hardest things I've seen, like a capsule hit the ground. You know, normally astronauts land in the ocean for good reason. So very interesting about that.
Fixed. I fixed it.
All right.
All right. You guys can hear me now. All right. Sorry about that, guys. So I got excited and I smacked my microphone and it unplugged for a second and it screwed up all the settings.
Okay. Now you are still coming from another source.
I know for you, but not for everyone else. Everyone else.
Great. Okay.
Everyone else can hear me fine. I can see it on the screen.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah. You guys should. I'm going to put my headset right here so Shane can hear me better. Oh, I'm very loud. I'll fix it.
Drew D's. Oh my God, the gain.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm fixing it now. All right. There you go.
We just like to listen. We're gonna.
There we go. There we go. That's better, right? That's better.
My ears are bleeding.
Oh my God. Sorry, guys.
Beating up our fans, bro.
Just gonna turn all this off, and that should do it. I should be back and good. Yeah, okay, we're good. Sorry about that. I was laughing my butt off, and my arm went up, and I smacked the mic arm, and it totally unplugged in the middle of the stream. And now luckily I have like 14 microphones in here, so I just ported myself for you through another microphone. And watch this. Ready? Now you can hear me better.
Wow, that was great.
Yeah. So, that's on the fly engineering there without even shutting the stream down. What's up?
Nice. Yeah, that was cool. For a second there, I figured it was just me going down. That's how it usually works.
Yeah, it was me this time. All right, so back to this. I apologize. When I make this clip, I'm going to have to do a lot of editing.
Well, so far they've opened up the door, and the PR person standing next to Bezos ran to the door quickly and made them shut it again. So that's what's happened so far.
Here's what happens.
Is Jeff Bezos, our founder, on the left, as well as Sarah Knights, our crew member 7.
His assistant, whatever, made him shut it. And now
okay, guys, did you see that?
This guy's gonna explain.
Let's go back and watch it one more time. Okay, now I want you to watch the hatch door.
So, can you imagine this coming from an English accent, though? I want you to watch the hatch door as they open it, and you'll see that the top, and instead of, all right, I want you to watch the hatch door.
Yeah, no, that would be much more.
I would, if I had time, I would have remade this, and I would have shown you like the English accent version of this,
the version,
AI, whatever, and then shown you this one and say, which one do you believe more?
It's true. Unfortunately, as humans, that's the way we are.
Right.
Door open from the inside. The lady runs over there real quick, says, no, shuts the door back, tries to stand in front of it. And then, actually, she starts laughing about it, as you can see right here, because, like I said, it's all staged. It has to look like it's open from the outside.
And we're now just awaiting
Let me get my cool
the
tool.
opening of the hatch so we can get some views.
That's another thing, dude. That's what he was like, when she was like, is that Jeff Bezos? That's what made me laugh so hard.
That's why, it's true. Because like, you can't tell that's Jeff Bezos.
Wait, so you're surrounded by a bunch of people, and one dude is white and bald, and you're asking which one is Jeff Bezos?
You missed my jokes about being able to see his head from space.
Yeah.
From our 6 new astronauts.
So he wants to make sure the cameras are running.
And I would imagine Lauren Sanchez in seat first.
The video's not running.
Ariane.
That's Carrie.
What'd you say?
My video's not running. I don't know why, but
And
there we go.
looking out the window.
Oh, you're right. It isn't. All right. Well, we'll let them.
In the window to the right there. Lauren Sanchez on the left. And you really get a sense for just how big all the largest windows of any
is window. And as he said, nope.
It's been a lot of time sort of like like glossing, like looking around. They're trying to make it seem like it's more important than it is. He can just open that door right away. In fact, we know they just already opened it. Like, but they're
waiting for the photographer, bro.
Oh, is that what it is?
They're waiting for the photographer. That's 100% what it is. They want to get it. They want to document it properly, and it's got to show Jeff opening the door. That's because it's his deal,
right?
It's his face needs to be on it.
Yeah, it's his face. Yeah, it makes sense.
I'm back. Nope, that's nice, but make them bigger. And what you get here, why is that so important? So many of our astronauts have said, when I got out of my seat, I looked at outside my window, and I turned around and I looked at the other 5 windows, and my brain can't becomes for. Here goes Jeff Bezos to open the hatch.
All right. So the guy goes on to explain how there's no scorch marks on the capsule, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, it's funny because he when he opens when he uses the tool to open it, he actually never does anything. He just it doesn't really open. It falls inward.
Right.
So it was already open.
It was already open.
They just had it shut, and he and it was all for for the media portion of it. I mean, they show it landing. So what are they saying, that it landed empty? Because you see the people inside there. Look, you see.
You do see people through the window.
Did you see the landing? How hard it was?
Yeah, that's. I thought the capsules landed like in water. They don't land in water.
They usually, they do for the Navy, but you have a ship to retrieve them. You have destroyers and frigates aircraft carriers to retrieve the capsules. But I guess Jeff doesn't have a fleet to. I don't know.
And how did it land in surrounded by? I'm not saying this conspiracy theory is correct. I'm just asking. In the words of Jesse Ventura, I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions.
Almost sounds like Jesse Ventura was doing that video.
I'm just asking, how did the capsule land exactly where they wanted to land, surrounded by media coverage? I'm just asking.
You also sound like Nick Nolte, by the way.
No, but I'm asking, this is a real question. How did how do they know exactly where it was going to land, and they were waiting for it?
Well, it's plotted out. So they've done enough of these flights that they know it's reentry and where it's going to end up.
I'm not saying this is a conspiracy. I'm actually asking the question. So they just did the math and goes, it's going to end up here at this time, so we're going to go over there.
Yeah, they got smart people, just like NASA engineers work. I mean, it's pretty easy to figure that stuff out. They know where they're going to come back. They even set it up to land in remote areas like this to make sure that it's going to come back.
That makes sense.
Properly. But
Drew D did say Blue Origin has shitty parachutes. A lot of their capsules have hard landings. I feel like that's something you can fix, though, right?
You would think so.
Yeah. All right. What'd you say about the scorch marks?
So, I mean, it's a good point about scorch marks, but I believe the heat shield's on the bottom. So, and I also think that the trajectory for reentry, the heat is not the same as coming from all the way up in outer space. I think I read something about that. How
you're not skipping on the atmosphere itself.
It doesn't get as much reentry burn coming back, and it's also the level, like the angle of descent. I don't know a lot about these Blue Origin capsules, I'm not sure what the reentry process is for them, but but I don't think there needs to be scorch marks all over the thing. That doesn't seem to be necessary. If it's on the bottom, that would make sense.
Yeah, I saw other pictures where there were scorch marks on other capsules, and I get that. But I don't think that's evidence that it was faked. So here's what I think. I don't think it was actually faked. I think they went into low orbit. They went into space, low orbit. What would be considered space? Not maybe what we would maybe consider space. Like we consider space like high up there, but space enough. And then they did that for a few minutes, and they came back down, and that's it. And I think the door thing is they were able to open it from the inside, and they weren't listening. And so they opened it before Jeff had his moment to open. And so the assistant said, close it up, let Jeff open it because of exactly what it is, a giant publicity stunt to get people to come to ride these rockets, these rides into space.
Yeah, it looks like it lands in West Texas. I was looking for a video of it landing. I don't know if you have anything where it's landing. I see something maybe on Instagram. Yeah, Instagram shows it landing. It's coming straight down. I don't see any scorch marks on the bottom of the Shepard capsule.
All right,
I can send you. Let me send you a link. You got it?
Yeah.
You know, looking at it, it's. But that's not a smooth landing. My ass. I'm sorry.
This is New Shepard. Not the same thing.
Hey, look at the link I sent you in.
There it is. There it is.
Screaming inside the capsule.
And
yeah, this one.
Parachutes reefing and
Yeah, you hear the women screaming from the inside? That's not fake.
When it touches
No, it's
down,
not
a puff
fake.
of dust.
that should be
That's normal.
a puff of dust.
But I've heard women
last
scream on rides
milliseconds.
too, so.
Air
It's
cushion that
like a
lifts
big
up the
ride.
dust. It's perception. There it is.
That does look like a violent landing, though, right?
That damn thing hit hard.
Yeah, like look.
I'm
up,
sorry.
Looks like a. So yeah, that looks violent. Are they strapped in?
I don't know. They better have really good springboard seats.
Yeah, like that looks like a violent landing, right?
Right, yeah.
Look at all the dust they kicked up. Like, I don't know.
Anyways, I don't think it was faked. And now somebody did bring the suggestion up. Maybe they moved it. Now this landscape looks like where they took the pictures, where it landed.
Mhm.
But I could see moving it to a place to get better imagery. Maybe I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, is there something weird going on? Sure. Yeah, capitalism's happening. They're marketing a product.
That's true.
It's definitely like, obviously they opened the door. Obviously he was able to, they faked that thing. That doesn't mean space is fake. So that's it. Notice that a lot of the people that are coming in here and saying the Blue Origin all-girl space flight was 100% fake. A lot of these people, if you go and look at their social media, they're flat earthers.
Oh, got it.
So this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Look, we can agree that this was a publicity stunt, a waste of money, and that the door situation was totally faked. And also think that they probably went to lower Earth orbit and came back.
Yeah, that's the answer.
Yeah.
I like Wizard Lives Matter's comment. It didn't go fast enough to cause friction. I think that's it. And also he says it didn't hit that hard. The dust makes it look bad, which I could see that being the case too.
There's the post you sent me. It was coming down pretty hard. All right. No, that's it. There's a lot. Like, I'll put the link in the description for you guys because like some of the comments are actually legitimately funny.
I think ultimately this is a good thing, bro. Like ultimately, people going even into low Earth orbit, low Earth space, is a step in the direction of eventually having space stations where people can live up in space, which is Jeff Bezos's dream. That's what he wants.
Right.
He, as a kid in high school, he used to write stories and fantasize about humanity's future is on space stations. So it's like a next step into the evolution of humanity, which I'm all about continuing to, take humanity to the next level in any even small ways. So let them keep sending people up if they want to spend their hard-earned dollars. And let's keep moving up.
Yeah. Have fun with that, guys. It's cool. All right. Well said, by the way, bro. Well, really
Thank
well
you.
said. And you know what? Shay and I also want that future.
Heck yeah.
As futurists, I believe that like if you had to classify us, we're futurists. We love science fiction and we love the idea of an inspiring, hopeful future. Nothing is better. And this is a step to that. And I think capitalism is probably the fastest route to that. People go, well, if the whole world just worked toward colonizing Mars, we can do it in 10 years. I'm like, yes. That's never going to happen.
You have to be able to think beyond yourself. And the problem is most politicians are only thinking about themselves.
Yeah.
So, they may get into it for the greater good, but once they realize, oh shit, I can't change much. I'm just going to make as much money as I can. It all goes out the window.
Yeah. The world is never the whole world is never going to work together for the greater good unless there's an alien attack and we have to.
Yeah. You're going to have an outside threat to have everybody come together.
Right.
Absolutely.
So the fastest way to that future outside of that hope, pipe dream,
capitalism.
Is capitalism. Sorry to 100%. Say.
I mean, you guys saw the Alien movies. Come on, you know how it works.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. The next story we're talking about is rather interesting. Shane and I are, you probably know that we like Elon Musk. We think Elon Musk is great. We also know that he's a very eccentric fellow. And there's this story that came out recently that is really funny, but the left is seeing this as like the most problematic thing on the planet. And we're going to give you our take. This was from Washington Post. I'm sorry, the Wall Street Journal. But I'll be honest with you guys, I don't have a subscription to Wall Street Journal, so I couldn't read it on Wall Street Journal. Luckily,
let me just
go ahead.
Let me tell you before you go deeper into it. I know the answer. I know why he's doing this without it being in the news. So,
okay.
But I'll share that with you at the end.
So once I turn my mic up, so I'll do that. So I don't have a subscription to Wall Street Journal. Shane doesn't. I don't actually know a single person that does. Oh, my mic is really low. You're right. I'm sorry.
Government employees do, and the government pays for it.
Yeah, USAID pays for it. Sorry, I gotta fix this real quick. Stupid auto gain. Okay. Yeah, I don't have a subscription, but I do have a subscription to being able to Google. And what I did was I went ahead and just Googled the exact headline, and this website called Tovima apparently just copied their article word for word and
good job, Tovima.
Posted it right online as their own. And I'm sure that's like not something people should do or wrong or whatever, but I don't really care because the Wall Street Journal can suck it. This was the headline the Wall Street Journal had. The tactics Elon Musk uses to manage his legion of babies and their mothers. The world's richest man juggles more than a dozen children and harem drama. What's a harem, Shane?
Whole bunch of ladies that belong to you.
Yeah. It's like
dudes if you're a lady.
So if like a group of birds is a flock, and a group of cattle is a herd, and a group of rabbits is a fluffle. I'm not joking. That's hilarious, by the way.
Okay.
A large group of rabbits is called a fluffle, which is awesome.
A whole bunch of fluffiness. Okay.
Then a large group of concubines would be a harem.
Okay.
All right. Harem drama. Along with running his companies and advising Trump, he recently took a paternity test in a battle with one woman over money and privacy, referring to Ashley St. Clair, famous because of her work with Tim Pool. And she's a right-wing influencer, right? And she's a good-looking woman, to be fair. She's not a bad-looking woman.
All of Elon's girls are good-looking. What are you talking about?
Of course. Well, Ashley St. Clair wanted to prove that Elon Musk was the father of her newborn baby. But to ask a billionaire to take a paternity test, the right-wing social media influencer had to go through Musk's longtime fixer, Jared Birchall.
All right.
She says, I don't want my son to feel like he's a secret. In a 2-hour phone call with Bashal in December. So, Bashal offered St. Clair some advice. His boss was a very big-hearted, kind, and generous person. But Musk had a different side. When a mother of his child goes the legal route in these discussions, that always always leads to a, and he said always twice, I want to mind that. That wasn't me stuttering. That always leads to a worse outcome for the woman than what it would have been otherwise. So, it wasn't the first conversation for Burchell. His public job is running Musk's family office, and he recently helped organize Musk more than $250 million push in support of Donald Trump's election. Behind the scenes, Burchell also manages a financial and privacy deal Musk wants for women, raising his babies. Musk, I'm skipping around a little bit, guys. I'll put the link in the description.
I'm like, who do we care this Birch guy is?
Because it's actually really important, because he's the one. By the way, do you want to keep your job? Why are you talking to the Wall Street Journal, bro?
I mean, who? This Birch guy?
Yeah, his fixer.
I don't know. I think Elon has an agenda here, but keep going.
Yeah. Well, Musk offered St. Clair $15 million lump sum and $100,000 in month in support in exchange for her silence about the child, whom they named Romulus. Like
He's
Remus and Romulus.
You have to have a second kid named Remus.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Similar agreements have been negotiated with other members of Musk's children, Burchell told St. Clair. Now, I'm not sure if Burchell is talking to the Wall Street Journal or Ashley St. Clair is talking, or if they're both talking.
Or neither one of them in some other third party.
Right, perhaps. Right.
Since they don't give their sources anymore. Good job, journalists.
Right. All right, so Musk's baby-making project is relevant to his ambition for NASA, which he wants to move faster to go to Mars. He said on X that making people multiplanetary is critical to ensuring the long-term survival of humanity and all life as we know it. In Musk's dark view of the world, civilization is under a threat because of a declining population. So first off, sorry to say, everything that he said in that is actually true.
It's all true.
There is a declining population. We do need to be a multiplanetary species.
Certainly.
It's a scary thing that one bad thing can happen to our planet and the human race is just gone.
Ask the dinosaurs. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to back yourself up, guys. This is not rocket science, okay?
Listen, we all have cloud for a reason, okay?
Yeah.
Our cloud is Mars. It's very simple.
Yeah, so his businesses are set up to serve that idea. The main objective of SpaceX is to build a rocket ship capable of getting to Mars, and his other companies, including electric car maker Tesla, help finance the plan. Musk refers to his offspring as a legion, a reference to the ancient military unit that could contain thousands, actually 600 or so, thousands of soldiers, and were key to extending the reach of the Roman Empire. That's actually a misunderstanding. It's actually roughly about between 600 and 800 people, not thousands, but still a lot.
At the rate he's going, he could have that many people.
Yeah. During St. Clair's pregnancy, Musk suggested that they bring in other women to have more of their children faster to reach, this is the line, ready, Shane? To reach legion level before the apocalypse.
Nice.
That's a direct quote,
especially
by the way.
Since Legion is part of the apocalypse, which is very interesting. I am Legion, right? Yeah.
I am the Legion. He recruited potential mothers on his social media platform X, according to some. Okay, I think it's funny. Like, imagine if you bought X just to like try to get more baby mamas.
Wouldn't be a bad game.
No. Burge has described Musk's expectations to St. Clair. Privacy and confidentiality is the top of the list in every aspect of his life. Every aspect, and his career and his entire world is set up to be like a meritocracy. He said, when people do good work. So, I'm just going to stop. There's a lot more. I'll put the link down there. He does say that without babies, there's no future. Every problem becomes secondary to the problem of not having people on the planet. That's true. Shane, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you have a problem with Elon Musk having as many children as he wants to have?
No.
Can you explain why?
why? Well, I don't have a problem with anybody having as many kids as they want to have, but he was just busted though, asking some other lady to have his kid. I don't know who that was. Somebody else online.
Yeah, that's unconfirmed. There was another person that said that he also asked her to be his baby mama, and she declined because she prefers the traditional route, and she said she declined like $15 million. That is at this point unconfirmed.
I think Elon has an agenda. So the first thing I understand about Elon is he is 100% on the spectrum. Okay, you can just tell, especially if you've been around people on the spectrum. He's 100% on the spectrum. So he already has a very interesting relationship with other humans. It's a more distant, more cold, he looks at relationships between humans differently than say other people do. And I think that in his mind, it would be better. And this is also a legacy thing. You got to understand. So what he believes, I think this is what he's thinking. I'm going to have as many offspring as I can, because it's going to do one of two things. One, I'm going to die someday, but I'm going to have all these offspring that'll keep me alive in the annals of time for generations and generations. I think that's one. And I think a lot of men sometimes think that way. Right. But another way is, I think I know Elon knows he's a genius, and it wouldn't surprise me if he was trying to create more geniuses in the world. Do you know what I'm saying? More offspring, potential intelligence to continue, hopefully, his work long after he goes. I truly believe that's why he's doing it. Now, what he's not thinking about is when you run around and you just plop a bunch of kids out all over the place that doesn't have a dad, that is a problem for that kid. And I don't think he necessarily associates the importance. And he's great when he is with his kids. You see, he seems great with them, but he doesn't seem to have any problem just like trying to populate the planet as well. So I know the kids that he's with, he gives them as much as he can, but he's not going to be able to, properly give all of these children everything they need to be complete humans. And every kid needs a father. So I 100%. think he's probably got his ideology placed over his humanity in the sense, but it seems very apparent to me if he's asking people, listen, will you have a baby with me? Maybe that's how he asks girls to have sex. I don't know, but you don't have to say baby. You can just be like, hey, you want to get dirty between the sheets. You don't actually have to say, let's make a kid. Well, no, I think he really wants to make a bunch of kids.
I think he can have sex whenever he wants. Like he's extremely. There's a lot of people that you could just pay to have clean sex. So if he wants to have sex, just buy a hooker. I think that he's specifically picking women with attributes that he thinks would be good for children. That's why he's picking these seemingly intelligent right-wing influencers, these scientists. He's trying to select people that he thinks would make smart, well-rounded children.
Yeah, it pushes his legacy forward. And listen, this is a guess, but I've spent a lot of time studying this guy. I think he truly believes, and I wouldn't be surprised if if he had heroes in Einstein and Newton and a lot of the great people that we remember, and if he doesn't want to also be one of those people that's remembered throughout humanity. I mean, as you get older, as a man, I can't speak for women, but as a man, you do start to wonder what your legacy will be. You're going to pass on, and will you be remembered? What did I do here? What was the point?
Right.
And he's getting to that age where he's got more years behind him than he does in front of him. And these are things, he's only got so many. Well, guys can make babies for a long time, but I think there's an agenda here, 100%. I don't think it's nefarious, but I think he wants as many Musks, as much Musk blood in society as possible.
Our Archmates called it Elongenics. And Drew D said he did select Amber Heard though, so he needs a little work on judgment. He selected Amber Heard and Grimes, which I think those were bad judgment calls.
They were just hot. That's all.
But they were just hot, and he was like, "Oh, I think after those people, he was like, I gotta pick smarter people. This is not a It's not going to work out in my benefit. So,
Mage, you need to trademark that word. I like that.
Elongenics.
Elongenics.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Look, I don't care how many kids he has. Have all the kids he wants. You want to know why? Because he can afford them. So,
yeah.
I do believe, I'm with you though. Like they need fathers. They need proper father figures. That is definitely a concern. However, Elon can afford it. And I know a lot of people that have kids that can't afford them. And they have a lot of them. And then it falls on the state. And then eventually the prison system and school system and et cetera, et cetera. And you pump out a bunch of these idiots, almost said a bad word, idiots that don't have the ability to think critically, and they make poor choices because they're brainwashed by social media and they vote for someone who is obviously a terrorist or a retard. So
that's idiocracy.
Yeah, there you go. So I'd rather have more smart children that can be taken care of than dumb people that can't be. And that's it. Do I agree with it? Like on like a moral level?
Yeah,
probably not, but it's none of my business. So
you don't agree with it?
I mean, morally, probably not. I think the kids need a father. There's no way you can actually father like 20 kids at the same time.
Yeah.
But it's not I am not allowed to make decisions for him.
Yeah,
as long as he's not a burden on me, then he has nothing to, his actions have nothing to do with me. He's not affecting me in any way. Unlike other people who have like 13 kids by 5 baby daddies, and every single one of those kids are on some kind of welfare, and they end up going, and they're also not fathered because the people they chose didn't mean that they had too many kids. They're just bad people or not smart, because you're perpetuating this cycle of empty fatherhood. And then you wonder why these kids don't get through high school and end up in the prison system. Well, let's just do the math. I'm sorry. Real quick. Do the math.
Wow.
Why are so many of these people can't graduate high school, or they're pushed through high school by a system of DEI requirements that thankfully is being defunded? They're either pushed through or they can't graduate because they're going from juvie to group home and then to prison. And you go, oh, it's the prison pipeline. What is the common variable behind the prison pipeline? Ready? Lack of a father. And you can look that up. I'm not being hyperbolic. Look up the statistics. The common variable behind people that cannot graduate high school and end up in prison are a lack of a father. Those people in the tiny amounts of time they aren't in prison come out, have sex with people who are with dumb women, okay? They have kids, and then they go back away, and they don't raise their own kids. And they perpetuate this cycle of empty fatherhood, and every one of them has the same. And it's so difficult for people without that fatherhood, with sitting on that generational curse, to break this cycle and end up successful and not in prison. Tiny percentage of people have the ability to break that cycle because the cycle is perpetuating itself.
Well, which is very interesting, because you would think that means that being a man and caring for other human beings, being responsible for somebody else, you would think that would be a learned behavior then, which I don't think it is, because, I mean, I didn't end up in jail, but my dad wasn't around.
Right.
Our dad wasn't around for me. So, I didn't end up in jail, but I have a very strong sense of caring for other people and making sure.
But you had a father figure, though. So I was raised with our dad, and Shane wasn't. Right. We're half brothers.
Right.
But Shane did have a father figure growing up that wasn't our shared father, right?
That's true, but he was like 10 years older than me, so he's a little different. But I'm not sure that he instilled those beliefs in me. I think it was innate with me. So the question remains:
you might be one of that small percentage of people that can break out of that cycle, then, because there is is people that can break out of that cycle, but the vast majority of ordinary people cannot break that cycle.
But maybe that's to do with the mother too. So
that's probably true.
You got the father, and maybe you didn't get what you needed from your mom. And it creates these situations where more men run. Like, I can't imagine having a kid and being like, good luck, You know,
No, I couldn't imagine it.
I can't imagine that. But
nothing is more important to me than my children. Nothing.
Right. But that, I think sometimes that's innate in some people, and perhaps it is a learned skill. But you're right about one thing, is that perpetuating that ideology happening in some communities. Let's be honest, it's happening in the Black community. It's happening in some of the Latin community, definitely in our country, and then they end up pipelining to prison. You're right. Yeah. So,
and there's that. You don't see a lot of Asian communities having that problem. Instead, right. You'll have like a household with like 3 generations of people that are all actively contributing to the community as a whole. This is why so many Asian people have no problem getting to university and colleges. In fact, this is why they're being considered not as part of the minority anymore in a lot of these universities, because there's so many of them applying, because they're in a system that is supported by fatherhood and family. Family is like one of the most important things to a lot of Asian communities. So you have these people that were not only innate, but they're raised to work hard and believe that this is the best and only system worth doing. And most of those people end up going to colleges.
Well, and most of those Asian families, let's be fair, most of them immigrated to the United States more recently, and they came from situations where there was no government handout. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, we have generations of Black people who live in this country, who came from slavery originally and then went into a welfare system when it was created and have lived off of that system. So I think that's probably why those two things exist. And I really do wish the government would do something to foster that, to somehow figure out how to, and I wish more Black leaders in those communities would bite a bullet, kind of like Elon is doing for the scientific community, for humanity as a whole, and go back into their communities and like figure out how to stop this terrible cycle of destruction in these communities.
Yeah. I believe that welfare and social services are necessary and good and required, but the current version of it is not helpful. It's harming people, because what it does is straps these invisible handcuffs on you, and it tells you that if you try to better yourself in any way, we remove all your support and we throw you to the wolves. Good luck in the cold.
And there's 2 reasons for that. One, the political system that supports that system, the left mostly, they want to continue to keep those political prisoners, people to vote for them. Keep voting for me if you want to keep getting subsistence. But also, I think the system is too big and complicated to make it fit each person's situation. So they have to kind of do this blanket thing where they're like, okay, you get $3,000 a month for welfare if you don't work. But the moment somebody goes and gets a job, it's not intricate enough to be able to say, well, you made $1,826, so we're going to mathematically give you what you need. It's either all or nothing. And I think when systems are that big, it makes it too complicated. And then it's just easier for them to stay on the system as opposed to try to work themselves off of it.
I think that's a cop-out, and I'll tell you why. For the government, not for people. I'll tell you why I think that. And you could disagree. If the government owes you something, and I'm going to quote Adam Carolla, they're a bunch of monkeys with an abacus. They don't understand your language. They can't call you back. They're understaffed, underperformed. They have nothing. They have no ability to give you what you need. The second you owe them something, they're brilliant 97 Terminators from the future coming to demand your offering. So when the government wants to do something correctly, efficiently, and quickly, they're very capable of it. The second they have to do anything that serves people, they become retarded monkeys with throwing their feces at each other.
Well, to be fair though, there's really only one department in the government that does that, and that's the IRS. But their entire mission and goal has been to create that system. So the IRS system does work that way. But when you got something like where you're giving money out and you're not collecting anything, there's no incentive for them to create a system that somehow returnally benefits the government in some way.
I mean, like short term, but long term, you create better citizens that will make more money and a cleaner, safer, more prosperous society.
You're right. Yeah. The first person who sets it up agrees with that, and that's why they do it. But each person who comes along afterwards, they don't have the same values as the original person, but they get hired to do a job, so they don't maintain it with the same passion. It's kind of like Hollywood and movies,
right?
It's like they just don't care whether or not it's good. They just want to make the money for it. And these people come in, they get their government jobs, and they don't care whether or not the system works. It doesn't affect me. I'm still going to make my, $32 an hour no matter what I do today.
Right.
And so nobody comes in to try to make it better. Until you got people like Elon who's willing to, he's made himself wealthy, but he's willing to do whatever it takes to try to make the system better. We need more people that will try to make the system better. And
even at their own expense. Hard to ask someone to do that. Hey, sacrifice your own power and money and abilities to help people you don't know. That's hard.
It's hard.
Not everyone's Superman.
Very few humans will do that.
Yeah, which is why I fully believe that Elon Musk is a lizard person and not from this planet.
Right.
All right. We have 2 more stories. Shane, if you gotta go at any point, you gotta tell me. You gotta let me know, because I'm just gonna keep riding until all the stories are done. I'm not following an arbitrary time until you decide it's time. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, let's do our stories.
All right. So let's talk about, and I gotta be really careful because every time we talk about something like this, something bad happens to our channel. So I'm gonna be very, very careful.
Ooh. Okay.
We need to talk about the coof.
Oh. Okay.
And I know people are tired of this, and so am I. I'm tired of it. I'm over it. Okay.
But I want it to be properly. Before I'm over it and tired of it completely, I want it to be correctly labeled for history.
Yes.
Once it's correctly labeled for history, I can move on.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah. Once the history books have been corrected, we're good.
Right.
Right now, it's not correct. And you're right. I'm 100% with that. That's a really good point, Shane. Thank you. This is from Benny Johnson. He says, breaking. The Trump administration has overhauled the bleep.gov website into a massive lab leak data center displaying scientific proof that bleep bleep was man-made in Wuhan, China. The official site now names Dr. Fauci as the criminal who covered up bleep bleep's origins. Now, think of this. Hang out with me real quick. When I saw that, I'm like, well, I got to go see what this website is.
Oh, yeah, I did too.
And of course, I went to that website. And I'm being very, very careful here because we do not want to be demonetized a 4th time. So
just don't say any of the words.
I'm not going to say any of the words here. But I'm going to show you. This is from whitehouse.gov/lab leak true origins of bleep bleep. And it does actually forward from bleepbleep.gov. And this is the actual website on the whitehouse.gov. Lab leak. President Trump standing there looking like
that is one heck of a what is that thing called? A banner?
Banner, yeah. Yeah. It looks like, flag. Those 80s movies where like the hero walks away from an explosion in slow motion?
Right. That's right.
That's what we're getting here. We got Donald Trump walking away from a slow motion explosion, and it says the true origins of bleep bleep. I can't say bleep bleep, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, I've gotten too many hits, so you're just gonna have to understand what bleep bleep means. And if you don't get it, read the.
You want to know what the most disturbing thing about this whole thing is? I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to say this one thing. This is the most disturbing thing. We don't know, we may never know whether or not it was done on purpose.
Oh yeah, that is terrifying.
But what I'll tell you is that they did know that it was out.
Right.
Before anyone else. And what they did not do was shut down their country.
That's true.
When they realized they were going to be overrun with this, they let it out.
Which makes you think.
They effing let it out.
Which makes you think it was intentional.
Well, I don't know. Well, here's the thing. Maybe it was opportunistic instead of intentional.
Okay.
And maybe it's like, well, listen, this is going to destroy our country. This is going to really screw us up. And we've already made this much progress in the world. We're about to take the number one position in the world. We're crawling up the USA's ass. And if we allow this thing to shut us down and we protect the rest of the globe by shutting our borders, then we're the only people who are going to suffer. And we're going to go back. We're going to go backwards. But if we let it all out, everybody's going to suffer with us. Now, I got there's no overwhelming evidence to this other than the fact that it's come out that there were people who knew about it from inside the country from at the very beginning, and they continued to have all of these huge celebrations right around it where people were coming in from other countries to celebrate while they knew this thing was out there already. So I don't know, I'm just being a reasonable human being to say, that country is responsible for what happened, period.
Interesting. I what you just said is really
scary.
Yeah. But also like something that you want, like I'm trying to think about in real time. Like you're completely right. Like everything you said makes sense. And yeah, what if it was just an opportunistic, like, look, it's someone's got to suffer and it ain't going to be us or just us.
They wouldn't sell the masks, bro. They hoarded the masks.
Yeah, they did.
I'm just sorry. I already wasn't a fan of that country because of all the IP stealing and all the
from us
bullshit they've been doing.
Guys, we're biased because they've been stealing from us for 20 years. FYI, 20 years of us suffering at the hands of that country.
But on top of that, everything that Trump was doing to them, coming to the end of his run, I mean, there's a whole bunch of reasons why they would just let that get out of their country. All right. I'm just saying.
This is what the website says, the origin. The approximate origin of bleep, bleep, bleep publication, which was used repeatedly by public health officials and the media to discredit the lab leak theory, was prompted by Dr. Fauci to push the preferred narrative that bleep, bleep, bleep originated naturally. It did not. Number one, the bleep possesses a biological characteristics that is not found in nature. We knew that. The name of the lab was called
we know.
The name of the virus. Data shows that all bleep bleep cases stem from a single introduction into human. This runs contrary to previous bleep bleeps where there are multiple spillover events. And yes, someone asked, is there a list of words you can't say on YouTube?
Hey.
There's no actual list out there, but there are words you can't say on YouTube, just so you know.
Hey, scroll down to the map on that website. Scroll down to the map.
Here we go.
It shows the distance between the two locations. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah. So here's the Hunanan seafood market.
Hunan. Yep. Mm-hmm.
There's China right here, you see. There's blub blub. And here's the blub blub Institute of Virology.
Yep.
Fascinating. So I really like that they put this out, Shane. I think this is actually important to history. And I love that you can actually download the oversight report. You can download the actual report. Like, that's incredible. Okay? That's incredible. Like, this is the most transparent administration in the history of administrations. It's incredible.
100% true. 100% true. We like them or not like them, not like what's going on. It's transparent, and we got to have transparency, bro. We got to have it.
Right. And I'm going to put this link. I don't want to talk about this too much because I'm actually terrified. I'm going to be real with you. I'm so worried about talking about this stuff because we're not really allowed to, if I'm being honest with you. And someone asked, Wizard Lives Matter says, I know there are words you can't say. How are we supposed to know to not say them if you don't provide a list? Yeah, you don't know. What happens is guys, we've been through this 3 times.
YouTube's funny like that, bro.
Yeah.
They'll let you know afterwards.
Yeah, it's real hilarious, bro. Okay, you know what they'd say? They'd send you an email that says, "Hey, you're not making no money no more, and no one's gonna see any of your content because you said a word we don't like." And when you ask what that word is, they don't tell you.
They don't tell you. So you don't even really know which one it was that messed you up.
So the only way we have sort of surmised is that like 2 of the 3 times it just happened to be right after we talked about this particular topic.
Yes.
We've seen other people talk about this topic and they purposely don't say the word. So we're taking a cue from that playbook.
Yeah, we think it's important to share it with you guys. That's why we're doing it.
And we'll put the link in the description, but it actually goes, proximal origin publication, gain of function, Ego Health Alliance. There's a lot of information here, guys. And I think that it's information, HSS obstruction, this is information that people should know about.
Yeah. And essentially the reason why you've got Fauci on there is because, he's the one who pushed that narrative that it was, and that originally it was natural, knowing that in some way they were funding that lab, and he just didn't want that to come out. And so he definitely, at the very least, hid that information because it was going to look bad regardless.
Right. And so we're going to wrap this up.
We weren't supposed to be doing gain of function since Obama shut it down.
I want you guys to know, though, that this is still being suppressed on search engines. Okay,
which is why it's good that it's here. Maybe that's why they put it on this website.
Yeah, I think the reason what they did was they basically took that old URL that linked to false information and linked it to this elaborate page. Was because the truth was not being promoted by the people that we, with our pocketbooks, have put in charge of putting out truth, of issuing truth.
and the fact that Biden gave him a full and unconditional pardon for any offenses against the United States. Since going back to 2014, completely protects him from even giving financing to the lab.
It's wild.
So this was thought out 100%, and it's a shame.
It is.
It
really is. It's a shame.
Government corruption at its worst.
Yeah, we don't like it. Anyways, in case we get demonetized, please subscribe. I'll see you guys later.
Gosh, if we didn't say none of the words, we should be okay.
Yeah, we should be fine. Look, like we do this thing every time, like, oh, should we talk about this? And we're like, other people talk about it. We should be able to talk about it.
It makes me mad.
We just need
that they can tell us there's something we can't talk about.
Oh yeah, of course.
Of course. It makes me mad that somebody can say, listen, you're an American, you have freedom of speech, but you can't talk about this stuff. That really makes me angry.
No, it should make you angry.
Yeah.
Listen, everyone should be angry. Even if you disagree with what we're saying or what someone else is saying, you should be angry that there are people that go, you're not allowed to talk about this. And why? We don't know. We don't even know the reason why. Maybe it's advertisers. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's some hyper conspiracy that we will not be made aware of until we're in our 80s. We don't know. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's simply because they don't want narratives other than what they believe to be the truth to be pushed. That's it.
Yeah. That's probably it, bro. All right. Okay. Let's talk about Abrego Garcia.
Nice. That was good, dude.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
I'm actually impressed. Abrego Garcia. He was this man right here. He was was deported to El Salvador because
by the way, he's from El Salvador.
Yeah, so he was deported to his home country.
Yes.
Of El Salvador. He was here illegally. And it was I guess an accusation that he was at least formerly a part of a gang called MS-13. MS-13 is the worst. It is actually the worst gang in South America. So we have this person who is a father and a husband who was here illegally. He had over a decade to get his house in order. He never did. He was then then deported to his home country of El Salvador. Now, yes, Shane, I'm going to let you take over here before I go back on.
No, there's just more info. There is other info to it. So he does originally come from El Salvador. In 2019, October 2019, a U.S. immigration judge did rule that he, even though he was an El Salvadoran citizen, couldn't be deported back there because he would probably face gang violence. And let me tell you, if that's the reason why, we're going to leave everybody in this country, guess what? Everybody who lives in Mexico or Venezuela or El Salvador, they could possibly face gang violence. So you literally could never deport anybody,
right,
under rules like that. On March 15th, Trump sent him there. Trump's officials sent him home anyways. And essentially, the argument has been that the left is saying he's not an MS-13 guy. He's just a father from Maryland, just a dad from Maryland. But he got in trouble for trafficking. He got in trouble for tickets. He apparently admitted to police that he had been at least previously part of MS-13. He has tattoos on his body that are MS-13 tattoo related symbols. And he ended up beating his wife in 2020, 2021. And she reported him. So he's also an abusive husband. So as part of MS-13, anybody, as soon as Trump said, look, if you're from a foreign gang like MS-13 or Trey, what's the one from Venezuela, Trey Anagua or something like that, you will be deported to El Salvador and to their prison. Like if you broke the rules, if you're if you've done harsh, bad things here in the United States, you're going to be sent to that prison in El Salvador. And so they sent him along with a lot of other people. And now the left is saying he's just a father and he needs to come back. So that's the basic story.
Right. And what happened was this was the White House's response to the court order. This is the White House.
So the courts told him he had to bring him home. So that also the courts ordered Trump to bring him back. And this is how they responded. Go ahead.
White House. This is the White House official account. So the New York Times reports, Senator meets with wrongly deported Maryland man in El Salvador. They replaced it with Senator meets with deported MS-13 illegal alien in El Salvador who's never coming back. There, fixed it for you in our New York Times. They're not going to listen. And here's the reason why. So Trump put out this tweet or truth or whatever he calls it. This is the hand of the man that the Democrats feel should be brought back to the United States because he is such a fine and innocent person. They said he is not a member of MS-13. I'm going to do that in his voice. Even though he's got MS-13 tattooed onto his knuckles and two highly respected courts found that he was a member of MS-13, beat up his wife, etc., I was elected to take bad people out of the United States, among other things. It must be allowed to do my job. Make America great again. Okay, here's the deal. So people were criticizing this and being like, the president actually tweeted that he thinks that on his knuckles it says MS-13. Lol, that's Photoshop. First off, the picture he's holding up, the words that say MS-13, MS-13, that's like closed captioning, dummies. What that is telling you what the symbols mean. And let me explain it.
There was an article that actually said that they put that tattoo on him falsely. That was so funny.
So you have to be, I'm sorry, but you have to be so brain dead or brainwashed or just straight up retarded to think that he is holding that photo up and saying that the actual Arial typeface font on his fingers are the tattoos. No. That, my friend, is a caption for the less informed. The guy has the following tattoos on his fingers: marijuana, smiling face, Christian cross, and skull, of which marijuana MM, smiley face SS, cross, which means 1, and the skull, the 3 holes mean 3, MS-13. The guy is an MS-13 gang member with MS-13 tats that you can find other pictures from other MS-13 people incarcerated that have the same exact tats. It is obvious. And the reason why he wasn't deported the first time, because he was going to be, a victim of gang violence because he was in a gang. Bottom line. This is not that hard. And for the retards that are trying to fight this like it's some kind of own for the right, you are the ones that look stupid. You look stupid right now. And you should just take those posts down because you're not owning anyone but yourself.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second, okay? What if he was an MS-13 gang member and came to the United States to escape that and now is no longer an MS-13 or does not want to be an MS-13 gang member? Should we look at him differently?
I mean, you can look at him differently, but he's still here illegally, and he just recently got in trouble for domestic violence. So where are we at, bro? I don't understand. Look,
well, see, the domestic violence one, I think throws the argument out, and also the fact that he was
nobody's committing crimes while here illegally.
Right. And I think that's the big problem. But I'm just saying, like, if this was a guy who wasn't causing no problems, he immigrated here to the United States. The immigration court said he can't go back because they'll kill him. Right. Maybe. And he hadn't done anything else wrong. I might have in my heart some leniency for that. If he's over here raising a family, living, doing a job and all that good stuff. But that doesn't seem to be the case. And on top of that, he was sent back to his country of origin, which now, regardless, it's a moot point. Like, El Salvador gets to decide what happens to this guy, period. Because he was not a citizen of the United States. He is a citizen of El Salvador.
Yes, he's not a citizen of our country. He's an El Salvadorian.
Homie's there, period.
Yeah.
So that's not going to change anything.
Also, for over 10 years, you had a chance to try to make this a legal arrangement, and you didn't?
Yeah. What should have happened was he should have never been allowed here in the first place.
Right. Obviously.
That's the problem. So, and he was here a lot longer before. He had been here a lot longer than when he finally went to his immigration appointment in 2019. So, that's the problem here. They should have never been in the first place. We wouldn't even be in this situation if that was the case.
Yeah, and someone's right. But she literally did censor his fingers on her profile photo because his fingers show that he was in MS-13 at some point.
Oh, it's censored? It's censored? She edited it?
Yeah, look, she put little hearts over his fingers.
Oh. Well, that's like admission of guilt there.
Right. Obviously.
All in itself. This isn't the story that I find, as interesting. I mean, listen, and even it's possible that they might get it wrong on a few people. Listen, you're deporting a whole bunch of criminals. You might get one or two that just happen to be with the wrong people at the wrong time, who also ends up getting deported. It's going to happen. There's no perfect situation or perfectness in the government. You might end up with a couple of people who were collateral damage. Now, if the left is going to try to jump on that every time that happens and try to turn that into the case, it becomes a political thing. And this whole thing where that senator went down there to talk to him and try to get him to come, that's all politics is all that is. And no matter what Trump does, it's going to be they're going to constantly be trying to put him in the wrong in every possible situation. That's what the news is going to be. So this story is going to go away here pretty soon because, frankly speaking, you saw the guy from the president of El Salvador. He's like, yeah, I'm not giving him back.
Yeah.
So, you can't make me. You can't make me.
Yeah, you can't make me. Right. I just think it's so crazy. They're like, guys, that's clearly an altered photo. We aren't that gullible. You're proving you're gullible. Stop it. It's obvious you're gullible. Stop it. And I realize like talking to these people is not a valuable way to use my time. So at first I was attempting to like show them the correct thing and explain. And I was like, you know what? It's not my job.
Well, they're not willing to, as long as it's, if they're anti-Trump, most people, not everybody, but most people won't even listen to it. They're not going to listen to reason. And I would say, and it's very interesting because I think a lot of people who are maybe on Trump's side, they're willing to listen to reason.
Right.
I don't really like a lot of his rhetoric. I'm really tired of him repeating himself about how bad Joe Biden was. Okay, we've heard it 1,000 times.
1,000 times.
Okay,
literally.
Fucking move on, bro.
Right.
Mr. President.
Mr. President.
Okay?
Move on, Mr. President.
It's time to move on. Stop. Okay, we all know how bad it was, and we agree with you, but it makes you sound stupid when you continuously repeat that stuff over and over and over again. And we all know you were elected president by all the swing states. Shut up about it. Move on, bro.
We get
Mr.
it.
President.
We get it, Mr. President.
So let me tell you, it's not that Trump can do no wrong. It's just he's the guy for the job right now. Okay. And I hope everybody looks back. Trump's like that parent that maybe didn't give you enough love and was like tough on you and you didn't feel like you got enough from him or he cared enough about you, but you look back in your 20s and go, oh my God, tthank God he did what he did.
Right.
That's what I think is going to happen in 10 years. Thank God that guy did what he did. Right. I couldn't stand him. He was a terrible dad. I couldn't stand him, but I turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping
I'm still alive. Damn it. Yeah. All right. So we're going to wrap it up there. Couple things though. First, we got
one more thing.
Go ahead.
No, we got one more thing. So that was news, but the real big news happened at 1:00 this morning when the Supreme Court blocked new deportations of Venezuelans in Texas under the 18th century wartime law. So Trump had been using the Alien Enemies Act to deport these gang members, right?
Mm-hmm.
But his Supreme Court overturned that ruling and said you are not allowed to deport these very specific people, these Venezuelan gang members, without them getting due process. So that's a big deal. This is something he's going to have to follow this.
Can we define due process?
So here's what they wanted. Here's what the Supreme Court agreed with. The Supreme Court, and there were two justices, Alito and Clarence Thomas, dissented against this. This is what they want. So the previous ruling, which was 5-4, they were going to let the deportations continue, but only if the migrants are given notice, a chance to challenge removal in court, and if their cases are filed in the jurisdiction where they're held, not Washington, D.C. So the Supreme Court agreed.
Hey guys, we're going to deport you. Here's notice.
That's what they want. They want people to have their day in court. That's what they want.
What?
Wait.
They're criminals. They came here illegally.
Well,
you think it's a good idea to give them notice so they can leave again?
Our laws, they did come here illegally. They crossed the border illegally, but a lot of them claimed asylum. The people who were truly breaking the law are the ones who didn't show up to their asylum court cases. Those people officially can be deported.
Okay, that's
you
good.
have up until your asylum hearing to stay in the United States legally. Even though you came across illegal, and I don't agree with these rules, and they need to be changed. Okay, but if you come here and you're like, oh my God, political asylum, I need help. My government's beating me up. I know I just traveled across 46 countries to get to your country. And I could have stopped in any of the other 46 countries where there wasn't political persecution, but please let me stay here for asylum. Right. That's what happens here in the United States, which is wrong. So that is the rule. So what these justices want is they want to make sure that we're not, and these guys, by the way, these guys were going to El Salvador, not back to their country of origin. For whatever reason, Venezuela will not let us send back their people.
Surprise, surprise. Venezuela sucks.
So Trump's option, well, fine, we'll send them to El Salvador, and we'll put them in prison there. And what I think the Supreme Court wants to not happen is that we just have everybody's deported to this El Salvador prison. I think they're trying to make sure that there's a day in court. So, so we'll see. And it is only specifically against these specific people being deported. It's not every deportation that this was done against. So there's still a lot of room for Trump. But that is the most latest thing that came down. They're going to fight these deportations, man. And it's going to be a battle. And depending on what Trump does is going to be a big deal, because he's got to make some decisions on how much to fight back and how much the Supreme Court is going to allow to happen, because some of these things are tough. In order to have these cases filed in the jurisdiction where they're held, that's going to be a lot more work than having the Department of Justice file them all in Washington, D.C. That's a big leap. And they know the Democratic judge who put this in place on April 7th knows that makes it more difficult.
Why are they fighting so hard to have people here that aren't citizens?
It's future votes. It's for the left. It's their fight. It's what they want. They want those people here.
So weird to me.
So they're going to fight. And simply because Trump doesn't want them here. It'd be funny if Trump's like, you know what? Let's leave everybody here. I would love to see what the left does if Trump's like, you know what? Nah, don't deport everybody. Let's just leave them all here. What would the left do? Get rid of them. Get rid of all of them.
Oh, get rid of all the aliens.
They do the opposite. So, it would be interesting.
I still think that for Halloween, Trump should dress like Hillary Clinton and call himself the first female president under their definition of what a woman is.
Oh, that would be funny.
Come on.
That would be hilarious.
Okay, we got some. First off, we got a members chat from Kenneth LaRoque, and I actually couldn't find it on my list here, but I saw it in the back end.
What's up, Ken?
I'm late. Made it here though. No notification, though I asked for one. I'm sorry, Ken.
That's a bunch of garbage, bro. I hate that YouTube does that.
Yeah, I do not know why that's the case.
I wonder it's so hard to find new viewers. Yeah. Our old viewers can't even find us.
Yeah. I don't know where you're at. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. We'll try to be better. And maybe we need to schedule it earlier in the week so it has time to get to you. We'll
maybe.
Yeah, because we did schedule it super late last night.
So it was last night.
Early, this morning, last night, same.
I mean, that's still quite a bit of hours. I mean, everybody should get the notification.
Don't know how it works. How it works. From Christy's Corner, thank you, Christy. She says, here's a 5 in case the wannabe overlords hit you. I appreciate that. Although if they hit us, we won't see that money for 3 months.
That's true.
When they demonetize, they freeze your money for a while. So
yeah.
John Burns for 279. Thank you, Christy. John Burns for 279. He says, do any of the space aces know Valentina Tereskova? She's a Russian cosmonaut, right? I believe. I believe she's a Russian cosmonaut.
Find out.
I've heard the name before.
She is a Russian engineer.
I've heard the name before.
Former Soviet cosmonaut.
Yes. Oh, see? Cosmonaut. See?
Well done.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Another one from John Burns. Need to get to the U.S. to get away from politeness. John Burns is in Canada.
He's in Canada. Yeah.
Hey, Canada. Hey, how you
It's
doing?
funny
there?
that I hear a lot of Canadians are getting upset because people are calling them polite, and they're like, "We're not polite." No, Canadians are polite, and you know what? It's a good human thing to be.
Guys,
gotta know when
it's
to be
not an
polite
insult to call you polite. It's okay. It's okay if you're polite. People are like, stop calling us polite. Please stop calling us polite. hey, man. Hey. Please, with all due respect, stop calling us polite, okay, sir? All right, another one from John Burns.
Show them your MS-13 tattoos. Good.
I got none. I got no.
Oh, you're gone.
No.
You're gone.
Yeah, no MS-13, nothing. I used to have a cross here, but it was one of those 6-month tattoos. So it's like the ink that fades.
Oh,
and I put it on there to see how I like it. And I was like, I might get another one because I don't like wearing a wedding ring. I've been married for 22 years. And so in our culture, if you put a cross on your left wedding finger, that's like a permanent wedding ring.
I thought you were married to Jesus, though.
I'm married to my wife.
I thought that mark or that tattoo meant you were married.
Well,
to God.
I've heard that too. But when I was in the military, a lot of soldiers got that to signify that they're married because they weren't allowed to wear their wedding ring. So I was going to get that. And so I had one for about 7 months. It was supposed to be a 6-month tattoo. It actually lasted about 7 months. And I just never went back to get it permanent. From John Burns for $5. Found out I have pneumonia in my right chest thanks to a 10-hour stay at the hospital Wednesday night after midnight. Got antibiotics lowering pain. Oh, John, I'm so sorry, man.
Dude, feel better. That's awful.
Yeah, it sounds horrible,
Pneumonia's
dude.
Scary. It's one of those things like it could get you all of a sudden. You know, you got to be careful with pneumonia. Get lots of rest, man. Lots of liquids.
Yeah. Drink a lot of water, not alcohol.
So he got pneumonia during a 10-hour stay at the hospital. What were you at the hospital for originally, buddy? That sucks.
Yeah. Well, maybe he works at a hospital.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, 10-hour stay doesn't sound like it's like when you go to work, like that's like I'm a 10-hour shift, but a 10-hour stay is like you're hanging out, you know what I mean?
That's true. The first time I got bleep was because I was in a car with my children for like 6 hours going to some wedding. John Burns, again, thank you, John. Canadian incarcerated 12 days in the U.S. had a visa.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah, so mistakes can happen. If you got a visa, you shouldn't be incarcerated unless you did something wrong.
Very true.
Yep.
No more from John Burns.
Be revoked. So if you're out there like chanting "Death to America" and you're on a visa, they might take it away from you.
Yeah. And why is that so controversial?
Because it depends on your political party.
Right.
Common sense doesn't matter.
Imagine
if
it's like
your viewpoint.
Ready? Okay, so real quick, I don't want to get off on the side work here, but imagine this. Shane, I come to your house and you invite me in. And I come in and I immediately start breaking stuff and saying, "You suck. I hate you. You suck." What is your first reaction?
I'm going to shoot you.
Okay, so what's your second reaction without a weapon?
Okay, I'll just kick you out.
Not hard, guys.
Yeah,
it's not that hard. It's not.
I'm still mad you can't kill somebody that breaks and burglarizes your house while you're sleeping at night.
Not in California, but you
can shoot them here.
Stand your ground rules are okay in Texas and Florida, and in certain situations in California.
Yeah. Well, if you come into my house, I'm probably going to shoot you.
Yeah, it's got to stand your ground or protect your castle or something. I forgot the words.
I mean, listen, you don't know what that person's going to do. Are you going to take a chance? I mean, I don't understand any law that allows somebody in your house doing malfeasance to not be shot or detained in some way.
Castle law is a real thing. If someone came in my house that I didn't know in the middle of the night, I'm going to be honest with y'all. That person's getting shot. I'm not going to ask questions. I might not kill them per se, but I'm definitely going to shoot them and then turn the lights on and ask why my wife's sister is here so late.
So you're going to shoot first and ask questions later. Now, yeah, in your house, I don't know if you could do that. In my house, there better be nobody in there. But I can see your house having visitors.
No, like say some random dude showed up that I've never met before.
You're getting shot.
Yeah, you're getting 100%. Shot, bro. Sorry to say. Yeah. So you guys don't come. Yeah, I just want to say hi, Brian. Don't do that. Knock on the front door at a reasonable hour. All right. John Burns, considering Trump's kids, we know he withheld love. I don't agree with you. I think his kids are a little bit weird, but I do think Ivanka is very poised and very intelligent. And the older Trump, what's his name? I think it's like Donald Jr. Not Donald Jr. Yeah, Eric. I think he's pretty well put together. And
Don Jr. is older than Eric.
Oh, is he? Yeah. He looks like he's younger. John Jr. is the only one that's like a sort of a wild card. The rest of them are actually pretty well put together, in my opinion.
I would agree with John in this, that maybe when Trump was younger, he was less loving.
Yeah, for sure.
So maybe you're right. When he was growing up, he might have withheld love. He definitely was in love with whatever he was doing. But it seems today he does seem very loving, at least at the age he is now.
Right. Also from John, he says, the Spanish Inquisition gave 30 days to prepare a defense.
I hope you're being sarcastic, John.
Also from John.
What a show. The Inquisition. Here we go.
The woman you mentioned earlier is the first female flight circled Earth 40 times. That's right. Yeah, I recognized her name somewhere.
That's an astronaut right there. I mean, cosmonaut. 40 times around the Earth. There you go.
Last from John Byrne. I'm not surprised that John has kicked Brian out. Okay, guys. Here's the deal.
Thank you, John, for all the super chats, brother.
My wife, while I was reading the super chats, my wife opened the door and gave me the look like, the fuck are you still doing on stream? So I need to wrap it up.
Yeah, you gotta go. You've been on stream for a long time today.
I love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you for super chats. Thank you for talking with us. Thank you for chats. We're going to be putting these clips up this week. And don't forget that this week we're doing members breaking news. We couldn't do it this week because the Vegas stuff. But
we did do one last week.
We did one last week? The week before that. Not this week. Not this coming week.
We didn't do it this week?
Not this past week, no. Oh. But this coming week, we will be doing breaking news for members. So if you're not a member and you want to be a member, click on membership. There'll be at least one of those this week, and maybe two if there's better news. And then also, if you want to support us in the classic fashion and get something for it, you can go to mixtees.com or mxtz.co. Either one. Click on YouTube exclusives. Click on The BRANE Show. Just so you know, it's right underneath Nerdrotic. So you have Nerdrotic, Podcast, blah, blah, blah. BRANE Show, that's us. And buy one of those products. And you can support us if you use a coupon code BRANE. You'll get, I believe it's 20% off. Or maybe 10% off. I forgot.
By the way, John Burns was correct. Spanish Inquisition gave you 30 days. They would read it out during Sunday Mass for people.
Wow.
Nice. I'll tell you what, John, 30 days, my ass would have been out of there. I would have found myself a new country to get to.
Yeah, he did. Nice. Google Spanish Inquisition. I dare you. He did.
You did it. It's true. John was right.
Okay, guys, we're out of here. Thank you so much again. We will see you guys next week for members shows. So if you want to be a member, do that. No one will be notified unless they're a member. It'll just pop up in your members feed for member shows, private member shows next week. And, of course, we'll be back next Saturday at the same bat time, same bat channel. Shane, you got something to say on the way out?
Happy Easter, everybody. Love you.
Happy Easter. Have a fantastic time. We love you all.
Here comes the